This show is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Getting America back on track. Bill Martinez live.
The FBI is still investigating Hillary Clinton's handling of classified information. Another case from her time as America's top diplomat is receiving new attention. It involves a Clinton Foundation donor with deep pockets who was given an important post in a top-secret security clearance until reporters started asking questions. Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen has the key documents.
In May 2011, Rajiv Fernando, a 39-year-old securities trader from Chicago, emailed Huma Abedin, a top aide in Hillary Clinton's State Department, to say he was in Washington that very day and wanted to see the secretary. I know the Chinese delegation is in town and she has 100 other things going on, but please let me know, Fernando wrote. Would love to work something out, Abedin replied. Let me see what I can figure out for tomorrow. The exchange appears in emails obtained by the conservative group Citizens United in its Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the State Department and were provided exclusively to Fox News. Why was Huma Abedin so eager to accommodate Raj Fernando? Perhaps because he had been a major donor to and bundler for Hillary Clinton's 2008 campaign and had also given upwards of $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation. That same spring, the new emails show, dozens of senior State Department officials worked overtime to get Fernando a security clearance so he could attend the first meeting of the International Security Advisory Board, a high-level arms control panel whose other members included former Defense Secretary William Perry and Brent Scowcroft, the former White House National Security Advisor.
It's not, again, unimaginable that a businessman, international businessman, might bring a certain level of expertise or knowledge or experience to such a job.
Fernando's membership on the ISAB was first uncovered by ABC News in 2011, and the young CEO resigned from the panel days later. Last week, ABC reported that it was Clinton Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills who ordered Fernando put on the board. The new emails obtained by Fox News show that Fernando was made a special government employee and given an interim top security clearance.
There are quite a few emails that suggest the State Department rushed the security clearance process so he could attend a meeting of this very sensitive board. This appears to be an effort where a Clinton Foundation donor bought himself a seat on a very sensitive board that's supposed to be composed of senior experts to advise the Undersecretary of State for Arms Control on matters of proliferation such as Iran's nuclear program.
When Fernando resigned from the board, Huma Abedin sent a heads-up email, quote, in case this comes your way, to Heather Samuelson. She was Secretary Clinton's liaison to the White House, and later the individual entrusted to go through all of Mrs. Clinton's emails and decide which were work-related and which could be deleted. A spokesman for Fernando told Fox News he was a recognized cybersecurity expert and only resigned when he did because he needed to devote more attention to the European financial crisis. Chris?
James, thank you.
I thought wasn't Fernando part of the yoga class or something there, Scott? Wasn't he teaching her the downward dog or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is incredible.
The up dog.
Yeah, what do you say, you know? And, of course, this is on the heels of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange saying this year he's going to leak information on Hillary Clinton that could be extremely damaging to the presumptive Democratic nominee. He was telling a British TV station that we've accumulated a lot of material about Hillary Clinton that could proceed to an indictment. This is from Assange's point of view. He went on to say that he doesn't think Clinton will actually face charges because he doesn't believe the current AG, Loretta Lynch, will indict her, but he thinks the FBI will use the information to push for concessions from the Clinton administration should she get elected. Oh. Do you hear the mysterious music in the background, huh, Scott? I mean, the plot thickens here. Wow. But, hey, this is 21st century politics. You know, what worked for them in the 20th century what's a couple of years? We'll just keep it going, and it's a good thing for them. And we're going to keep talking about it, especially in light of this new movie that's going to be released called Clinton Cash. It'll be coming up in the coming weeks. This is Bill Martinez. We're live.
Here's Dr. Paul Meyer, Christian psychiatrist, author of 85 books, and founder of the national chain Meyer Clinics, to tell you about To Your Health liquid vitamins.
I've been taking these every day for over a decade now, and I try to encourage every one of my clients to take them every day. And there's a number of reasons. First of all, it's the best vitamins you can get. It's got dozens of vitamins, antioxidants, and nutrients in it. And then the most important reason why I do it as a psychiatrist and recommend it to my patients is because it's got brain food in it. It's got the essential amino acids. It's got tryptophan, phenylalanine, tyrosine, choline, vitamin B6, and these chemicals that are all natural from food turn into the brain chemicals that make you happy.
To Your Health is delicious. Find out more today. Call us 800-801-3459 or visit online at mytoyourhealth.com. Use the coupon code RADIO15 for a 15% discount on your order. That's mytoyourhealth.com.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Bill Martinez Live, a program about current events, our culture, our values, our politics, and our future. And now, Bill Martinez.
We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going on. Stop. Hey,
well, hello, America. Bill Martinez here with you 6 minutes after the top of the hour. It's always great to have you along with us for the ride as we come together shoulder to shoulder, back to back, doing what we can to get this country back on track, as we insist. It's going to be a bottom-up movement, not top-down. Top-down is what got us into this mess. And when you think about, the history of this great nation, it works best when it is, managed by a few and influenced, certainly, by we, the people. Just take a basic little history lesson. And speaking of, did I say history lesson? It must be time for Bruce Kaufman. Yes, the one and only, our favorite historian right here, excuse me, on Bill Martin. I get choked up, Bruce, every time, I think about bringing you on the show here. Bruce, welcome to Bill Martinez Live. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Bill. Thank you so much. And an early happy Father's Day to you and all of the dads out there listening to the show.
Well, some great lines here. I like what Jim Valvano had to say. He says, "My father gave me the greatest gift anyone could give another person. He believed in me." Wow. You think about, how important dads are. And I got to tell you, this is after generations, I say generations, maybe decades, where fathers have been maligned. TV series have made fathers into a joke. But all joking aside, fathers are so special. There's just nothing that can replace dads. I know feminists think that they can, and I ask you, how's that working for you?
You can't replace the dad. No, there's no question about it. And it's kind of interesting. You think about kind of the cultural shift in our country. Yeah, a lot of the dads that are part of the sitcoms today are made fun of and are jokes, and in many cases aren't even good dads. And then you think back to the 50s and whatever, the sitcoms back then, in which the dad was, was looked up to, respected, loved by his kids. That's kind of emblematic of some of the changes in the country, no question.
When you had so many of the dads in the greatest generation, Bruce, like you and I were blessed with, whose fathers went to defend our country, there was something that didn't have to be said. I guess, there was such honor and respect for our dads. I just remember growing up, and I was so grateful for my father, who really was, my best friend. I mean, he was just such a great man and such a great example. And what I loved about my dad, and I said at his funeral, my dad exuded love to such a degree that you kind of felt that this is the way God must be. Because there was just something about him, and this is a man that raised 9 kids. He fought in World War II, as you and I have talked about. He was at the Battle of the Bulge as a medic. So you can only imagine what he endured. And a very humble guy. So at that time, I guess maybe the culture wasn't ready to have our men made fun of, especially when they had given so much. And but when we go through time, since World War II, we had Korea, and we had Vietnam, and the men continue to go there and defend our country. We have less and less by percentage, and I think because of that lower percentage, maybe it's okay for some of these creative geniuses to take their liberties and malign fathers to the degree that they do today.
Yeah. I mean, well, just going back into history, the founding fathers, of course, in the government they created, it's the greatest government ever, but the government they created was based on certain cultural fundamental principles, of which was that the traditional family was the bedrock foundation of any nation that was going to be successful. Mm-hmm. And of course back then, and it has changed, and in many ways the changes are positive, but back then the dad was the family breadwinner, the provider. He was the person that protected his family, looked out for his family, was served as a role model for his family, especially his sons. Mm-hmm. And that has kind of changed over the years, and to me it's been a detrimental change. I personally think that it really started in the 60s. At that time, the Vietnam War is going on. We've got the Woodstock generation and the hippies and the free love and all of that, and so the culture kind of changed. What was a stigma in the old days about sleeping together, living together, unmarried, wasn't quite the stigma it used to be. But to me, Bill, the biggest change was the fact that in the 60s, thanks greatly to Lyndon Johnson's Great Society program, individual responsibility was replaced by a dependency on the government.
Exactly.
And that was such a fundamental change to the founding fathers' principles, and I think it has been to the great detriment of the family structure today, because as we're seeing, there is a crisis in the family right now, Bill. In the early 60s, before the Great Society, 9 in 10 children aged 18 or younger lived in two-parent homes. And the out-of-wedlock birth rate was about 8%. Mm-hmm. In 2014, the 50th anniversary of the Great Society, out-of-wedlock births were at more than 40%, and in the black community, and the Great Society War on Poverty program was supposed to eradicate black poverty. In the black community, out-of-wedlock birth rate is now more than 70%.
Exactly.
And it is because we are dependent. That's the other thing. That this is the other part of the problem with the welfare part of the Great Society program. The government welfare rewards you if you stay unmarried to the father of your children, because you get more money in welfare payments.
Yeah,
it rewards you for having more out-of-wedlock kids, because you get more money the more out-of-wedlock kids, because it's means tested based on poverty. So you're poorer if you're not married to your husband. Exactly. And you're poorer if you have more kids out of wedlock, so the government gives you more money. That is an incentive to remain poor. It is an incentive to not marry the father of your children. It's an incentive to have more children. That is perverse.
It is perverse, and look what we've done to our society. That essential building block, the family unit, has been destroyed. Bruce, is it any wonder that our culture is in the chaos it is today?
That's such a huge contributor to that problem, Bill. There is absolutely no question about it. And the real crisis, ironically, is to me anyway, is in the black community.
Yes.
If you're going to have an out-of-wedlock birth rate of single black women at 72%, then you've got not only an economic problem in terms of the cost of that, but a societal, cultural problem of unbelievable proportions. The Indiana governor, Mike Pence, put it really well. Okay, he said, to those who say that we should simply focus on fiscal issues, I say you would not be able to print enough money in 1,000 years to pay for the government you will need if the traditional family collapses.
Exactly. And here we are. I mean, what's this going to look like 20 years from? I mean, let's not even talk about another 50 years. Just 20 more years, Bruce, on this trajectory that we're on.
It's a scary thought, Bill. It is a scary thought. But to me, the one thing that we need to do is to return to individual responsibility. I mean, this is my age-old. I'm a broken record on this. But the step towards the solution to that problem is to reduce the amount of influence the government has on our lives, reduce the amount of responsibilities that the national government has, and return them back to, as the founding fathers intended, state and local governments and individual civic groups such as charities and church groups and that kind of thing. Those are the kinds of people that should be shaping our culture. That individual responsibility lies in the local community effort, not in the national government in Washington, D.C.
Well, we're going to talk more about it on the other side of the break. Bruce Kaufman is with us. This is Bill Martinez. We're live just about 15 minutes after the top of the hour. Stay with us.
I had what many would call the Cadillac of insurance plans with my company. It covered everything, and that's what got us started thinking, well, what is everything? Are we indirectly paying for people to use services that we don't believe in or want to be a part of? And MediShare was the perfect answer for that.
I felt such relief switching over to MediShare. I wasn't paying for anything that I didn't believe in. I was actually able to stand up for what I believe in, and I was able to put my money where my faith is.
We're part of this great program, and it really costs us less than insurance.
Learn how thousands of Christians can help you save on your health care. For your free information guide, call 855-BIBLE-11. Not available in Montana. MediShare, affordable biblical health care. Call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you're having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
According to the Mayo Clinic, your bones are continuously changing. New bone is made and old bone is broken down. Now, when you're young, your body makes new bone faster than it breaks down old bone, and your bone mass increases. Makes sense, doesn't it? Most people reach their peak bone mass at around 30. After that, bone remodeling continues, but you lose slightly more bone mass than you gain. Now, how likely you are to develop osteoporosis, a condition that causes bones to become weak and brittle, depends on how much bone mass you attain by the time you reach age 30 and how rapidly you lose it after that. The higher your peak bone mass, the more bone you have in the bank, and the less likely you are to develop osteoporosis as you age. Well, at Bill Martinez Live, we focus on absorbability of bone-building calcium, magnesium, vitamin D3, and boron. Try our 98% healthy body, bone, and joint pack. Find us at BillMartinezLive.com, Longevity, or call 855-305-8326.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771. You're listening to Bill Martinez Live.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I know. You take our brokenness and make us beautiful.
Your program, your calls, your opinions. Bill Martinez live.
Hey, welcome back, America. Bruce Kaufman is with us, our favorite historian. We're honoring fathers. It's Father's Day this Sunday, and I trust you have some great plans out there in which to honor Dad. I like what William Shakespeare had to say here about fathers, Bruce. He says, when a father gives to his son, both laugh. When a son gives to his father, both cry. And you got to imagine, with me having 4 sons, I've had very many moments where tears have streamed down my face because of the blessing that they have been in my life.
Father's Day, Bill. Both my daughters are in town. My lovely wife is in town, and so the 4 of us are going to spend Father's Day all together, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, my daughter, as you know, she's expecting. We're on baby watch here. We're getting real close. End of July, 1st of August, somewhere in there. So we're still not sure where little Jackson is going to be birthed because she's based in Maui. And we got a little bit of excitement with his child's delivery. So he may have to be delivered in Oahu. There's still a slight possibility, maybe San Diego. So we're on baby watch and so excited. She's doing really well. And I think Jackson's going to be a swimmer. I think after all, he's got the Phelps last name because she says he's bouncing around already. He's moving around. I say, well, he's like that butterfly in the cocoon. You know, they exercise and they move and they stretch their wings because in the process of doing that, they're just building up their muscles, right?
That's great. I was captain of my swimming team in high school. More swimmers, the better.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, I can barely stay afloat, but hey, I'm looking forward to it. Both the kids have been good swimmers, so we'll see what happens with this little guy here. So we're real excited, and we can't wait to see him face to face. But anyway, speaking about what had happened in the '60s with President Johnson, and to me, Bruce, the worst thing that could have happened was that the dreams of Americans was stolen. Black, white, brown, everything in between, because of this wrong incentivizing that was all designed, in President Johnson's words, to sustain and get Democrats reelected. I know I don't necessarily want to make this a political thing, but it is. I mean, you got to call it out for what it was, and it's still in operation today. It is an addictive drug. It is a debilitating drug. I know when we talk about self-responsibility, some people tune out and go, well, there goes those Republicans again, those self-righteous people. There's got to be a way in which to express it that people would not want to let go of their dreams. Their dreams are so doggone important. And I think about the people that have been so hampered and hamstrung by this government responsibility and this idea that government's going to take care of you. And especially in light today that we move so much closer to socialism. I mean, Bruce, who would have thought, 10, 15 years ago that 40% of the Democratic Party would want a socialist to lead this country? Yeah. I mean, those are huge numbers.
Those are huge numbers, Bill. But, of course, a lot of them were young people who were very attracted to Bernie's promise to give them free health care and free education. But you're right. I mean, we have moved that way. Excuse me. We are. I mean, the government, you pointed out Johnson saying more government programs and more Democrats get elected. The Democrats are the party of government. Mm. And in terms of the dream, okay, which you're absolutely right, keep in mind that when Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, one of the lines in that famous passage was the pursuit of happiness. That's what we are guaranteed by our government. We are not guaranteed happiness. We are guaranteed equal rights to pursue our dreams. The government is not, as the Founding Fathers created, going to make our dreams come true. We are going to have to do that. The government is going to set up a government that allows us, that gives the equal rights and the liberty to go after those dreams. But to achieve those dreams, to make them come true, we are dependent on our own hard work, on our own sense of independence, on our own ability to grasp and take advantage of opportunities, even a little luck. But the point being that it's up to us, not the government, to make our dreams come true. And that is the huge change in our nation since the progressive movement, since the Lyndon Johnsons and the Barack Obamas and the Franklin Roosevelts. The government is going to make our dreams come true for us, one of which is the government's dream that we're all pretty much equal. That's not how the Founding Fathers had it set up. They had it set up as that you want to achieve your dream, you're going to have to go after it yourself. You're dependent on yourself, not us. All we will do for you is give you a government structure in which you have equal rights and equal liberties to go after your dreams. That's it.
Exactly. Bruce, you tell me where in history. You show me the empirical evidence that supports this democratic thought. It sounds like a populist idea, and people go, yeah, okay, well, yeah, let's take that money that Donald Trump has earned and let's even that out. He doesn't need $10 billion. We'll just spread that out. Mitt Romney, that money he made, that was unfair. The government wants credit, and they want to say, hey, because of them, we have iPhones today and all this technology, that it wasn't, that it was all about what the government did. I mean, this scenario, this is all very dangerous stuff that they're putting out there. And I think that sometimes, Republicans and those of counter thought kind of just think, well, that's pretty crazy. They're saying this, but they got to understand, people need to understand that is a pablum to a growing generation of dependence.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time someone says to me, including President Obama, that you didn't do that yourself, the government did that for you, okay, I will admit that the government builds roads and that kind of thing, but where does the government get the money to pay for those roads that it builds?
Exactly.
Taxpayers.
Yeah.
The hardworking individual Americans who faithfully pay their taxes, even though their taxes are much higher than they should be. But for any Democrat to say the government's doing that for you does not recognize the fact that, no, the government doesn't raise a single dime on its own to do those things for you. It takes the money from the taxpayers. And by the way, when the government takes over building roads, building your schools or whatever, it subcontracts out to companies. It doesn't do it itself. So every time someone says the government is doing that for me, I'm thinking to myself, you do not understand how government works.
Exactly. And the thing is, they subcontract to companies that say, okay, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
They take the people's money, they subcontract to their cronies, bundlers and whatever that have been along the way, that have been in their trajectory and in their circle of cronies. And this is what goes on. This is the corruption that exists today. This is why, so many Americans don't get how outsiders look at this country and go, wait a minute, we're in Mexico and you give us a bad time here for the corruption we have in Mexico, and your officials are as corrupt, if not more.
Yeah, and not only corrupt, but and also incompetent, but also when you've got the government as your employer, you can build a government. So some contractors building a road, that 9 out of 10 times they will pad the bill that they send the government, because they know that the government guy overseeing this he's going to check off the box and say, yeah, pay the bill, because the taxpayers are the ones that are actually ultimately paying the bill.
Well, let me tell you this, Bruce. At one time in my marketing company, we were doing some work for the government, and I handed in an invoice, and they said it's not high enough. I said, what do you mean it's not high enough? And so that told me a lot during that experience there. We did a couple other projects after that, but it was very uncomfortable, because I would turn in a bill and the manager would up the bill. He would double the bill, at least, because he just says, and the reason I realized why he did that is because the other vendors that they were working with did the same thing. I was out of step. Yeah. I was not in the profile of their other vendors that have been ripping off the people.
Right, exactly, Bill. And remember that all those government agencies, they have to spend every single dime that they're allocated every year, because if they don't, then Congress is going to look at them and say, well, then we can give you a smaller budget.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying we should freeze the budgets like around the end of September without notice. Just tell them it's frozen. Do you imagine how much money would go back into the coffers just by doing that?
Yep.
Because the last 60 days or so, the government expenditures are just out of control. Bruce, real quick, as we wrap things up, remind everybody where they can go for more information.
My website is historylessons.net, Bill. That's one word, plural, history lessons, and you can read my column there, explore the website, sign up for my columns. Right there, it says subscribe to Bruce's writings, put in your name, your email address, hit send, and I will send you my 3 offerings, my quote of the week.
And DIY experts Ben and Aaron Napier. Natural light is the best way to wake up any room in the house. If you're redecorating this summer, refresh a dark room with these tips.
Y'all don't have to burn your budget to bring that sunny, summery feeling into every corner of your home. One trick we use to open up a space is to hang mirrors across from the south and west facing windows where the light is strongest for the best reflection. You can even attach one to the back of an old window frame to create the look of an extra window.
You'll be surprised at how much bigger and brighter the room feels. For our DIY purchases, we like to use our Bank of America Card Cash Rewards credit card to earn 1% cash back on every purchase. And when we shop at wholesale clubs, we earn 2% cash back for the first $2,500 in combined grocery, wholesale club, and gas purchases each quarter, which helps our renovation budget go even further.
For more information, visit bankofamerica.com/getcashback. bankofamerica.com/getcashback.
The following is an incredible, life-changing free offer for anyone with hearing problems who wants to start hearing everything more clearly again. We're now offering free in-home trials of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear to anyone who calls this special toll-free number now, 1-800-957-9364. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers. It adjusts to let you find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. Don't miss this special life-changing opportunity to hear everything more clearly again for free with a 100% free in-home trial, free shipping, and even free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-957-9364. That's 1-800-957-9364. 1-800-957-9364.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507.
This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
I want to live this life unsafe, unsure, but not afraid.
Bill Martinez.
Can't push back the mountain, can't stand on the waves. I can see through the darkness, I'll hold up a flame. Take me to the ocean, I want to go deeper.
Your program, your calls, your opinions. Bill Martinez Live.
Hey, just the way you like it. All about you, America. Why not? 28 minutes before the top of the hour. Bill Martinez here as we celebrate fatherhood. I like what Dwayne Wade had to say about fatherhood. He says the best thing that could happen to me, and I'm just glad I can share my voice. We wish you a happy Father's Day, all you dads out there, and time to be with your family. And, we just appreciate all the hard work and the responsibility of what fatherhood, brings upon us. It is a blessed experience, to say the least. Hey, with us right now is Dr. Sean McFade, a former paratrooper in the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne Division, associate professor at the National Defense University, a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, and adjunct professor at Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service. Sean McFade, always good to have you with us. Welcome back to Bill Martinez Live. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Bill. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll tell you, the conversation and the fallout of this incident in Orlando continues as more and more information is coming out about Omar Mateen and his father. And, the big question is, and this is something that Donald Trump is resonating and connecting with people, going, what happened to common sense? If you hate this country, why be here? Why are we letting people who want to come in just to have their way with our country and put us all at risk that want to see us wiped off the face of the earth?
No, that's a great question. And what do you do with a guy whose only sole purpose with this frustrated life is to become a martyr. How do you stop that chain of events from happening? And you don't have to look very far from where the apple fell from the tree to see that his father is very suspicious as well. But that's indeed the question. How do we do this in a rule of law society?
Exactly. Well, sometimes, as my old mentor would say, is that we can be so open-minded that our brains have fallen out. And I think maybe this is where we find America today, is that we want to, maybe because we enjoy so much and we realize we're so blessed, but part of that blessing that we have, it requires a responsibility and acceptance and a realization of that it is a blessing. There are so many immigrants who come, and we are a nation of immigrants after all. And, my parents, they came here because, they saw opportunity. But I got to tell you, my grandfather, he didn't see the opportunity much. He was happy to get back to Mexico, and God bless him. All that's what worked for him. But for my mother and my father, they saw the opportunity. My dad went on to be a World War II vet, was at the Battle of the Bulge as a medic. And, my mother and father raised 9 kids. And the idea in our family was, hey, look, assimilate. Go out there and, contribute to the family and contribute to your city or nation and be a responsible citizen. This is what my dad preached.
That's right. I mean, it's funny. My grandfather fought in the Battle of the Bulge as a medic as well.
Wow.
And was shot and left for dead and eventually picked up. And he told me as a young boy that, Sean, no matter what you do, you will serve in the Army. And I became a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division. That's certainly not what the shooter's father was telling him. And when people when people come to this country with the sole purpose of killing other people or becoming a martyr, you're correct. This is brushing up against what it means to be an American. And I think that's really what's under attack here. I think that's what's so outrageous. It's not just a mass killing. It's the affront to our national identity.
And at the core of this is free speech. It's First Amendment rights. And this is the fine line that we walk on. And, we've had a lot of hate speech toward our country that has run rampant. And dare I say, Sean, on college campuses, there has been a narrative that wants to make America into bad guys. And some are seeing, this kind of retribution and these kind of acts, these terrorist acts coming to America as, just dessert.
Right, which is utterly disgusting to me. It's almost treasonous speech, which is not the same thing as free speech.
Yes.
The idea that we have a politically correctness in this country where it almost makes a case for the shooter as somehow people in Orlando deserve this as just desserts for who knows what. And I think one of the problems of that, we've gotten away from national service in this country.
Yes.
We don't have a civil service as some countries have had in the past. It doesn't mean you have to go in the military. You can also do civil service in some other way, some other duty to inspire nationalism, patriotism, that is something that's earned and not received. We don't have that right now in certain hallways of certain colleges and other hot spots around the country.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I am in favor of bringing that back. I think that you have to have skin in the game. When, today you have, I guess, roughly less than 2%, and we're just talking about military that serve the military, but as you say, there are other ways to serve the country. So you put skin in the game. I believe that we should have a mandatory 2-year participation in our government at whatever level. If it's in the military, whatever other service that you want to provide, but you put your skin in the game and support and understand what this country is all about.
Right. And I think once you have skin in the game, I think your tolerance for domestic jihadism starts to wane quickly. And I think it also creates a more vigilant and hardened society, frankly, rather than and I think one of the reasons we do this is because, when we fight wars overseas now, we have a lot of contractors doing the fighting for us. And I think people take it for granted. I have a lot of military students at the National Defense University, and one of the things they complain about is why is 2% of the nation doing the heavy lift on the fighting and dying against enemies like ISIS?
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point that needs to be looked at more seriously. Also, getting back to this narrative that's been put out there very casually. My son's in college right now, and some of the things that he tells me that professors say to him, I mean, it's appalling. I just want to go in and bum rush the classroom and say, what the heck are you talking about? I mean, here in your theoretical ideas of what you think this country has done and how it operates, you think you have something better to offer. You are speaking, in treasonous language. You should not be protected, because then you begin to build this scenario, whether it's the Jeremiah Wrights of the world, the Bill Ayers, and all these people that speak and have these conversations in their little cocktail parties and whatever. All this stuff is very dangerous. And I'm not one to say, look, we should have Big Brother listening into every conversation. But my goodness here, we are killing the goose that's laid golden eggs all these years, and we're going to toss it out willy-nilly like as if it's no big thing here. I mean, what are we doing with our country?
I agree with you. And this is indeed I think it's, how many more Orlandos will the country withstand,
Exactly.
Or are we going to continue to say, oh, it's just really, he was just a troubled youth,
Mm-hmm.
That's not a sufficient explanation.
Well, here he is. I mean, he's an American citizen. Some argue, well, he didn't come from the Middle East. Well, yeah, but his father did. And what happened here? Why was there a breakdown? Why? And when you hear the father, he says, hey, look I wanted him to assimilate. I didn't know all this stuff. And then, of course, you find out on down the road that this kid was very conflicted, and the father made fun of him because, his gay tendencies and all this stuff. And, I mean, this is one for psychologists to have all kinds of fun with here, Sean.
Yeah.
But
you're right. As a nation, we need to think deeply about what it means to assimilate and be a member of this country rather than just a privilege of winning a green card.
Exactly. I mean, come here to the country. Like my dad used to always say, look, the option is you add or take away. What are you bringing to the dance to add and make it more of a party? And I say to anybody, any immigrant that wants to come, hey, you want to come in and advance the cause and the dream of America? Hey, we'll put out the red carpet for you. God bless you. Welcome to the team. Sean McFate, former paratrooper in the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne Division, has been our guest. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. This is Bill Martinez. We're live.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Did you know there's an approved healthcare choice just for Christians that's founded on the timeless principles in God's Word? It's not insurance. It's Medishare. Over 189,000 believers across America who love God and share each other's healthcare bills. It's about half the cost of health insurance, and you never pay for medical practices that go against your Christian beliefs. Best of all, the healthcare law includes a special provision for Medishare members, so you don't have to buy insurance or face penalties. Medishare is affordable health care without compromise.
Learn how thousands of Christians can help you save on your health care. For your free information guide, call 855-BIBLE-11. Not available in Montana. Medishare, affordable biblical health care. Call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL.
Has your body ever gone low blood sugar, feeling weak, shaky, knowing you better eat something fast? We all know high blood sugar can lead to many metabolic problems. At Bill Martinez Live, we have a healthy body blood sugar pack focusing on structure and function of stable blood sugar. Find us at BillMartinezLive.com longevity or call 855-305-8326. Nothing feels worse than unstable blood sugar. Call 855-305-8326. That's 855-305-8326.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
The final phase of extermination is set to commence now. And as population die-off becomes evident, you know it is the time of punishment in all that is written. The cover for mass die-off is evolution and global warming frauds, also used as false proof of their Christ. They are from the lines that were disinherited 2,000 years ago. Now they claim to be his Christ based upon blood type, DNA, and long lifespan. Go to unveilingthem.com. That's UNVEILING them.com.
It's Bill Martinez Live.
You're going to say when you meet your grandmother.
Buenos días, abuela.
Very good, very good.
What are you going to say, Mommy? Bonus dies, Maydree.
Bonus dies May 3. Honey, it's buenos dias, madre.
I don't think that's very nice, making fun of my Spanish.
Well, you've been making fun of my English for 15 years.
Well, that's different. Spanish is a foreign language.
Well, English is a foreign language to me.
Well, the way you speak it is to me, too.
Join us online at BillMartinezLive.com.
Hey, whether it's online or any one of the 280-plus affiliates that we have, thank you for joining in. This is Bill Martinez Live. With us, of course, we got to go back and we have to remember, the Lucy series because, Lauren she's the Lucy girl, beloved and endeared by us. And, hey, Lauren, always good to have you with us. I like what Euripides had to say, and I'm sure you can relate this to Father Bill here. To a father growing old, nothing is dearer than a daughter. Mm-hmm. As we honor fathers on this upcoming Sunday and Father's Day, God blessed me with one very precious daughter, only one because I guess he figured that that's enough I could handle. That in itself, as soon as she was born, I got reduced to my lowest common denominator really quick.
Yes, nothing was ever the same.
Nope, it has not been. And of course, as you know, we're on baby watch. I mentioned earlier, we're getting down to the last couple of weeks here, so we're really excited. We can't wait to meet little baby Jackson face to face here. We just got to figure out where he's going to be born. I mean, she's in Maui, and he's either going to be born in Oahu or San Diego. So, we're certainly trusting in God's sovereign hand over this little baby's delivery in his life.
Well, and times like this, you're so thankful that you have the Lord to cling to. I haven't given birth to children. I've adopted children, but I've talked to friends, and I'm like, the having the baby, I'm carrying the baby, but it's getting the baby, it's like the last part of it that I'm like, oh, so that's the part you really are, praying over. That's the part I'm like, ooh, but I know your daughter, and I haven't seen her since she was a teenager.
Exactly.
But really thought the world of her, and there is a special relationship between daddies and daughters. I'm an only child, and I think my parents, after I was born, were like, no more. This is non-negotiable. I was talking at like 6 months of age, which is pure crazy.
Yeah.
And my dad, Bill knows him. You all don't know him, but he is so laid back, easy going. I'm telling you, if everyone was like my dad, we would all just have the most perfect lives and everyone would love each other. He never takes anything personally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just rolls with the punches. I mean, he could encounter like, you know, Charles Manson, Freddy Krueger. You pick some crazies out there and, you know, fiction or nonfiction. And he'll just be like, oh, they're having a bad day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he doesn't personalize. He doesn't make a big deal out of it. Sometimes I look at him like, you know, I don't know that I get a whole lot done because he's so laid back. And he is very smart. He was a dentist before he retired. But he's not a confronter, you know, so because he doesn't care. I mean, he just doesn't care. So if we were all like him, we'd live to be 120. Now, I said you wouldn't do a whole lot of confronting, but, man, along the way, it really is a smooth ride. So I want to be more like my dad still, and I'm 50 and he's 86. I'm still aspiring towards that today.
Well, what a man of peace, though. But you imagine what gets done in peace. You know, we've had quite a wild week here. Speaking of disruption with what's going on in our country, with what happened in Orlando, as we're still trying to digest the evil that broke out last weekend, Lauren. I mean, this is, you know, this is some an opportunity. This is, you know, in the midst of what the evil one meant for bad. There's some positive, I believe, you know, some good to be drawn out of this. But I think we need to be still a little bit.
Yes. Well, and the Lord is so faithful. You know, it's hard to talk about this at times like this are so tragic, to say that he turns something beautiful out of tragedies. He takes ashes and turns them into gold, but he does. And, you know, just thinking about the families, you know, you don't want to take that lightly because the loss of a loved one is the greatest pain that we endure in living in this fallen world. But to know that, you know, I'm trying to learn to live eternally and to know that he thinks that way. Yes. And as I get older, I keep trying to plug into that more and more so I digest things differently that happen. Right. You know, that I look at it and say, this life is but a vapor and it's important, the choices we make, but it's here and gone, but it's what we're storing up for eternity. And, you know, I really am praying for the sake of those precious souls that something tremendous does come out of this. And that's what their families would want too. Exactly.
Well, I think what's really interesting, what I'm sensing here, Lauren, is that at times you get progressives, you get people that want to manipulate what happened, and somehow Christians are at fault. And Christians are the ones that are just coming alongside and praying for the families, and they're sensing this could have been my son, my daughter, and in a sense that you know this particular individual picked this you know this gay nightclub, this transgender nightclub, but it could have been anywhere. It could have been at the local Shoney's or whatever. But he picked this place. Or trying to spin it that he was just having a bad day and he was just a disturbed person, which clearly he was. But he had motive, and we all know that. And so why don't we acknowledge the truth for what it is? But then again, we have to look at what's going on, like you said, in our world. And I get frustrated with the gun control, as a lot of you do, because I think, you know, somebody that's unhealthy, and if you want to go as far as say crazy, they're going to get a gun. Yes, right. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get. So why are we even having these discussions? And I've had some disputes, healthy ones, with friends that keep throwing that in my face, and I'm like, okay, that's a moot point. Why are we talking about guns? But if you want a gun, you're going to get a gun, and then can innocent people get guns? I'm not saying that we don't need to be more careful. You know, we do need to be careful, and you know, maybe our laws need to be stricter. But I just think that they're looking at it the wrong way. We got to deal with the core of the issue in this regard. And that's why people are so heated about this debate. You know, that's why we want someone that cares about America and someone we're going to defend ourselves. And see, something I didn't realize, and a lot of you might not know this, Bill, I'm sure you did. Did you know that ISIS has only been formed for 4 years? See, I was thinking it had been around for decades. I don't know why, but it's only been in 4 years because they sensed the weakness in our country's administration. Well, it really opened up. That's why. When, you know, and of course we get into some of the political arena, who caused what. I mean, the president will want to say it's George Bush's fault. Others say, well, look at how the events unfolded here. And when we left Iraq, which this was President Obama. He didn't negotiate an exit agreement with Iraq, and it left it wide open. And here it is. We had all these Arab Springs, and the government participated in some disruption of governments, whether it was Libya or in other areas. And, look what happened. A void's not going to exist. But, that's a whole other conversation. But I want to stay on the gun control issue right now, because I thought this was interesting, because, I always look to empirical evidence, and, people want to, talk about, they want to get in the realm of the theoretical. And I think that's okay in a conversation to kind of, because you got to want to filter it out. And this is the beauty of having free speech. But at some point, you got to bring the truth in. You got to bring in evidence,
reality,
and say, okay, look, what does common sense tell you? It's like you get attacked, you go, whoa, I got to protect myself. I mean, women right now, women are out there buying guns more than men right now, because they're sensing, hey, look at. My government's not protecting me. I'm not sure, and of course you got a lot of single women out there too, and they're going, hey, look, I better gun up here. And, we're going to have.
I've got a cleaned out mace can, and then my friend is sending me this really cute, it's a little pocket flashlight that's a taser gun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm carrying all this on my key ring.
Well, on your key ring, you're doing well. I'm a firm believer in but you got to know how to use these things. Whatever, if it's a gun or a flashlight, what to do. I mean, there are certain things that you can do to protect yourself. A taser, you want to make sure we don't taser one of the 16 dogs that we got running around the house there by accident.
That's right. Except sometimes they might need it. Just a little jolt on the back leg. Just a quick one.
You can't do that.
Is true. Yeah. I mean, we're wanting to be safe, but I have children, small children, so I don't know that I'm comfortable with packing. But yet I do want to take a defense class, and I do want to take a class where I can learn how to shoot a gun. So I'm not like going, wait a second, hold up, let me make sure the safety's not on. Which is what would happen now. But the other night, my daughter and I were leaving a restaurant, pitch black, and we had friends with us, and their car was like a different place. They were already in the car leaving, and all of a sudden they came back, and I was like, that's kind of weird. They called me over, and this big, huge man in the dark was coming right for our car, and they saw him and came back, and when he saw them, he went away. If he had been pure in heart and really cared about us and was, wanting to know if we were okay or something, he would have stayed. He wouldn't have left.
Exactly.
And they're like, girl, you weren't even paying attention. And my husband's like, pay attention to your surroundings at all times, especially when you're walking to the car late at night.
Yeah, you have to be situationally aware, no doubt about it. What I was going to share with you in terms of some empirical evidence, here's Switzerland. And I don't know if you know this at all here, Lauren, but where most adult males are part of a trained militia, they have weapons in their possession. It has the lower gun crime rate than America. Could there be some relevance here?
There's absolutely a lot of relevance.
Well,
we need to take note of that.
Lauren Kitchen Stewart, yes, the Lucy girl. Lauren,
Happy Father's Day.
Hey, have a great one. Give Father Bill a big hug, and stay away from the dogs, okay? 16 is enough right now, by the way.
And no tasering, nothing.
And no tasering the puppies, okay? Be kind, because puppies' lives matter. They do. Just 2 minutes for the top of the hour. This is Bill Martinez.
Lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable, reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At Bill Martinez Live, we should change Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to BillMartinezLive.com Longevity or call 855-305-8326. That's 855-305-8326.